Welcome back. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom. Abushe. It's Mamolefe Sehume, your hostess again on Salam Media, where we share some of the stories that you can get nowhere else. Can't tolaga. But yeah, we bring them to you because this is the human connection type of journalism. We're going to be welcoming our next guest, who is Tokiso Mbatha, and she represents the Mamolefe Legacy Foundation, NPC. Before we can even do that, let's, hierarchy, I hear of hierarchy. Let's start with the mother, the founder, who is Mamolefe. She founded the NPC called Mamolefe Legacy Foundation, and she is a philanthropist, a social entrepreneur, an activist, and community worker, community builder. She strives to share her legacy and empower individuals to become agents of change. Some of the amazing campaigns being run by the foundation is the book writing project. Tokiso will correct me somewhere along the lines if I've got it wrong. The book writing project, and the other one is the Unsung Heroines project, which we're going to be talking into. These two are the ones that we've picked from the many that the foundation has initiated. Tokiso Mbatha is the daughter of Mamolefe, and she herself is a vessel of goodness. She represents a greater goodness, and she represents what we would call, in the 70s group would call, a common humanity through the things that they do individually and collectively with her mother through the foundation. Tokiso is following in the footsteps of her mom in being a force of nature, and she's driven. She's a storyteller, a strategic communication professional, and an online reputation manager. My goodness, that's deep. Tokiso builds brands on social media and manages reputations through content creation and social listening, engaging with the external and internal community, and reporting on the performance. Did we get that right, Tokiso?
Oh, you
What
did.
did we leave out?
No, you got it right. You summed up my professional and passions.
We are on the pulse, aren't we?
Yes, you are, Mamolefe. Yes, you are.
Welcome, Tokiso. Welcome, Tokiso. And thank you for representing the foundation, the Mamolefe Foundation. As we said, we're going to concentrate on just two of the projects that you are doing.
Mm-hmm.
There's the book writing project that you have initiated and the unsung heroine projects that you're doing. Maybe before we can even get into that, just tell us, sum up a bit what the Mamolefe Legacy Foundation represents. What is it about?
So the Mamolefe Foundation basically represents what Mama stands for. When you, I guess, spoke about her bio, and she's very big in leaving a legacy beyond just people remembering what she's done for the country, but also in saying what can we continue to do. In teaching us to continue the work that her generation have done in our way, right? Because struggles change and flow with time. So that's what the Molefe Legacy Foundation is about. It's about saying that, listen, with what you have, in the time that you are present in, there is things that you can do, right? And that's what we stand for, and that's why the focus then on storytelling, on giving back to the community, on substantial farming in our own backyards, those kind of things. It's saying that let's not wait for the big things. Let's work with what we have, because if you look at what Abu Mama stood for back then, they worked with what they had and they didn't have much, but they stood up against a very oppressive system with the little that they had. So that's what it's all about. That's what it stands for, and that's the legacy it wants to leave behind.
Yeah, that was summed up beautifully. I can almost see the projects. I have my own artificial intelligence in my head. Only I can see
I
it. I'm
love
like
that.
seeing substantial farming, and I see books being written here and people talking
Yes.
here. With that said, can we talk about, we had Mena Kediribani before you, who was
Mm,
talking about her space, how she used her space and the platform that she had at the time, which is the beauty industry, to bring change, and whatever else that she's
mm,
doing to continue to bring change. Um, Talking about that, that speaks to the unsung heroine project, I believe. What is that
mm.
about? What about the unsung heroine?
So if you look at our history and how our history is told, we kind of have the same names that keep coming up, and mostly male, and it can give a skewed presentation that only our fathers and brothers and uncles fought against the oppressive system, and women were played a big role in it, and their stories are not being told. And that's what this project is mostly about. It's telling the stories of our mama who would hide people who are fighting the struggle, who would cook for them, who would send them warnings when they were being hunted down by the cops.
Mm,
It's telling the stories of women who are in on the ground, like Mema Molefe, who would who were go John Foster Square, which is actually one of our other projects, where they were tortured. When you go to number four, now I forget the name. Number we call it number four, but we have a lot of women that were tortured. That we don't tell those stories enough. We don't tell the stories of the things that women did. And I feel like also for my generation, it's important for us to learn about these unsung heroines so that we understand that we stand on the shoulders of giants, right? And the blood that runs within us is quite powerful. We powerful. Women are powerful, and we need to hear those stories to remember that. So that's what this particular project is about, where we'll be looking at documentaries. One of the first ones being John Foster Square, where women were tortured at John Foster Square, telling their stories. We had the pilot documentary, and we're currently busy with the second version of it, the proper version of it. So Umama right now is actually on a road show taking universities through the pilot project, where we are telling stories of women that whose names are not known,
mm,
but they have contributed to 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 like really big stuff. And then also, in addition to the unsung heroine project, is that we're working with with Wits University's history department, and with the students there who are doing research on South African women. And these are women such as Sally Motani, Mema Pito Malepe, Mepuseto Matlabani, and these are women's stories who we need to hear about.
mm.
Counselors, women, like I said, some of the things we think are quite small made a huge difference. So yeah, that's what the unsung heroines is about.
And I mean, listening to what you're saying, I can just see this actually almost not closing the gap, but narrowing the gap of, people went through what they went through. There's a lot that's been said about trauma.
Mm,
Now in our years, in our existence, we hear about how we need to take our kids to therapists or ourselves to therapists, and it's insisted for us to be whole, you know.
mm,
To contribute even better to our society and our country and globally. And you think of the gap between the trauma that happened during those years on both the women and the men. Now we'll talk about the women because trying to
yes,
be
that's the
relevant to this
focus.
topic. But there was trauma that was suffered, and
And
unfortunately,
it
and I
never
mean, there's a
ends.
gap. There's a gap in terms of the therapy treating the
Yeah.
trauma. And I can just see this actually. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not only recording those stories, but do you find that it also serves as some form of therapy therapy for the people who
I would
contribute.
I would say therapy, but also I think it allows us as well, the new generation, to give our mothers grace. I was chatting to me Mamolefe the other day, and I'll
Not
quickly
me,
share
guys.
this.
Not me. Not this
Oh,
mama
as in
lady.
my mother, Mahauta. And she was saying that at one of the times she was tortured, and this really stuck with me, right? She was 22. She was, yeah, 21, 22. One of the many times she was tortured at John Foster Square. And and it hit me that at 21, 22, I remember at 21, I think I wanted my 21st birthday and I had a surprise 21st birthday. At 22, I was trying to figure out where to work and I was demanding money from her and getting bursaries. You know what I mean? Like our
Yeah.
problems were so different. And sometimes we judge how our parents raise us, forgetting that uh, they went, there's things that they went through
Mm,
that impact how then they showed up as parents. And
mm,
when we speak about showing up whole to the world, these this generation of women, they were able to mother, wife, socialize. At one of the events, someone did ask, when did they find time to like party, right? And they did say, hey, we did find time to gumba, we did
mm,
find time to
mm,
have a good time. And whilst doing that, they were ducking bullets, they were hiding from the system, they were fighting the system, they were being tortured. Already at 18, one of the stories Mama shared was that she knew if she walked into a certain room that she needed to get out immediately, because if the police find her in the chances of her getting out were slim.
mm,
And that was never a concern for me at 18. And I feel like these are stories we need to hear to understand what
mm,
really happened in that time and to fully understand their thinking. And also, as we move and we're trying to be whole, we also need to be okay with the fact that we might not really be whole. um, we'll have to somehow navigate this world with our scars,
mm,
with our mental illnesses, with our traumas, because can we be whole in ever? What does that look like? Do we have like a blueprint of what whole is? Because when you look at our lives and you look at our parents, they're not the blueprint of what this whole we preach about. Is it a realistic ideal? So that's another reason this
mm.
is so important to tell these stories, so we understand that also our problems are not unique per se. So we can give each ourselves grace as well. So give them grace, but also give ourselves grace as we're navigating this thing called life.
Hmm. That is quite deep because now I'm starting to think, how am I parenting, and also what informed how I'm parenting, because I learned from the same mothers that you talk about, and what I sense these kind of projects could also be beneficial for, not only for us as the generation
Mm,
that's here now, but also for instance, when we get into whether it's a company or it's a school
mm,
where we send our kids, where it's very diverse, right? Which is the gift that
yeah.
our country has got. There needs to be, I see this, if looked at in a very positive light, this can be used to actually tap into to say, these are the things that people went through, and be compassionate about it,
Yes.
compassionate about it, and also realize that actually there is no, as you're saying, blueprint, and there is no sameness. There are different dynamic journeys that people
Exactly.
went through. As a result, they took from some of the people that are sitting around the table. So some
Mm,
sensitivity around, who we are sitting with around the table,
yes.
considering stories like the ones that the Mahauta Molefe Legacy Project is doing through the Unsung Heroine projects. I think this can be used as some form of national tool to actually build
Definitely.
and reform where we can.
And
Can we just,
international.
and international, correct? No,
Yeah.
correct, because the world is a village, and I mean, we were having a conversation the other day and talking about, funny because Argentina here is going to join the BRICS team, making the circle bigger, I hear. But how Argentina actually speaks across, around the table, you find that there are conversations by Argentinian activists and Cuba and American, and there's no longer that boundary that says, you don't need a visa to communicate with people, you know what I mean? So that's the
Yes.
platform that people use. And when you're saying international, I see what you mean, because then when we're sitting around the table, all these other things almost fall out the window, but we make use of these platforms that we've got. Can we just take a break, Tuki? So, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the book writing project
Yes.
that you guys have started and are running.
Perfect.
Day by day. This is Salam Media.
Help us ease the hunger burdens of those in need by donating to the Sanzaf Meals Project. For just 12 Rand, you can provide a freshly prepared meal to an individual. And with your commitment to a monthly contribution, we can reach out to even more communities and deserving individuals. Call us on 011 834 6046 to learn more about this life-changing initiative. Sanzaf, changing lives through development and relief.
Online schooling? Why not? Kurtuba Online Academy is the leading global online Islamic school from grade R to matric, offering South African caps and international syllabus. And it doesn't stop there. We also offer online madrasa for every grade. For more information, visit www.kurtubaonline.co.za. Kurtuba Online Academy, the leading global online Islamic school.
At Centio, our Invest for Good philosophy is based on a genuine desire to use our investment skills for the benefit of broader society by investing responsibly, giving charitably, and developing talent that will transform the investment industry. Visit www.centio-capital.com for more information about our Sharia investment products and start saving with us today. Centio Capital. Invest for good. Centio Capital Management is an authorized financial services provider.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042-203-1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
I've been trying to actually imitate that voice, but yeah, I'll get there one day. But yeah, welcome back to the show, and you are with your hostess Mamolefe Sehume, and we were talking to Tokiso Mbatha, who is a director of one of the directors in the Molefe Legacy Foundation. Tokiso, we can just jump back into the topic, and you tell us about the book writing project that you're doing. Just shed some light around that project.
Okay, so the book writing project basically, similarly to just the unsung heroes, heroines, is we encouraging women to tell their stories. And this doesn't have to just be politics. It can be anything. Tell your story, right? Whether you're a survivor of abuse or you started a project or, just let's get into the habit of telling our stories more often. So that's what that particular project is about, where we're just gathering women and saying, let's talk, let's write. For example, in my case, I'm very passionate about academia, and that would be my focus, where I'm talking about the academic journey as a, a young, am I still young? A young mom.
Please don't get into that.
As a mom, I think I'll just remove the young. As a
We younger, we
mom,
younger, we younger.
we young, right? But also in general, also, as a professional, and I think, and you touched on that regarding when we walk into certain spaces, and how we show up, how we parent. So that's so many stories to tell. Single parenting, so there's so many stories to tell. So that's what we're encouraging. We're hoping to get more women writing, more women published, and yeah.
Okay. I think there's a lot of interest that you will get from this. And I mean, when you talk about diverse stories that are to be told, irrespective of, not being boxed, I said there may be some people who would probably want to talk to you and just hear if they can be contributors to that project, whether it's through writing or just supporting. If people want to actually engage with the Mamolefe Molefe Legacy Foundation, where can you send them?
They can please go to our website. It's Mamolefe Foundation, so all one word, .co.za.
Please
And
spell the
they,
Mamolefe. Let's not assume people know how to spell
yes.
Mamolefe.
So Mamolefe is double M, A for apple, G for gold, A for apple, U for umbrella, T for Toto, A for apple, and then Molefe, Molefe, Foundation, FOUNDATION.co.za. And when you go onto our website, it's very clear. Like, you'll see all our campaigns. Like, you can choose and let us know which campaign you want to be part of. We put up our events on there as well. So when you click on campaigns, for example, you'll see all our programs, from the book writing project, anti-ageism, unsung heroine, individual life coaching for youth, backyard and container gardening, counseling sessions, and surviving John Foster Square, which is actually our big baby right now. So yeah, so when you go on there and then you click on those, and then you can, our contact details are on there. And also, if you would like to just support any of our courses, our banking details are on there. And then you have all our email addresses, but the main email address being info@magautamolefefoundation.co.za, or you can speak directly to the founder, magauta@magautamolefefoundation.co.za. And the contact number is 082 674 1215.
Thank you so much, Tokiso, for that. I think we leave here with more to do and more to engage with. People usually claim that they don't know where to go if they want to do this and they want to do that. So this is our offering, and people will just decide whether they want to be part of that journey or any other, But we appreciate what you are doing through the foundation, and we wish you all the best with the projects. And hopefully we can contribute one way or another, individually and otherwise.
Thank you for having us. This is one way of contributing to get our stories out there. So thank you for having us. We really appreciate the airtime and the conversation. And hopefully I'll be back soon.
Hopefully, hint to the technical team and production team. Thank you so much, Tokiso, and you have an awesome day.
Thank you. Enjoy yours too, Mamolefe.
Keep well. And that was Tokiso Mbatha, a director and daughter of director of Mamolefe Molefe Legacy Foundation and daughter of Mamolefe Molefe. So this is the part where I thank you, not in the parliamentarian voice. I thank you, not that one. Thank you for joining us and keeping me company and making this day better than the one on Tuesday. My feet were more on the ground thanks to you, because I know I've got company. Just to wrap up the show, I would like to read to you and leave you with one more poem that I hope leaves something with you. And also to just say to you that it's all love. Everything comes from a source of love. Where I might have erred, forgive me, and may Allah forgive me. And where we have done well, may Allah accept. And we only hope to spring even higher from here, individually and as a nation. And I wish you all the best. The poem goes, a whole new world. A new world is birthing. A new way of being is crowning. It is forging forward and breaking down all the old structures and old ways of oppression, imagined superiority, and dismissive othering. The birth pains feel so real. Yet we will see the light. We will. The new way of equality and egalitarian freedom is not giving us a choice. It is moving through us to see the light of day. For now, we cry. We let it all out. It grunts and it groans. The old way must give way to the new. We are birthing our new selves. We break the tough, entrenched ways that have been a foundation that brought us internalized prejudices and a visceral yearning to power over those whose strength and greatness we probably sense, those whose value we want to believe to be less than. We break open these cast iron grips of accepted violent domination on our beings. It's tough. We cry, yet we do it anyway. We take our power back. Hold tight. We are breaking free. Hold tight, even with tears streaming down our faces and backs tired from pulling this yoke. We do the work anyway. We birth a new world, a new way of being. And that is me, Mamolefe Sehume, signing out. Double Doli. Assalamu alaikum.